You are listening to Match Betting Insights, brought to you by OddsMonkey. Welcome to this all-new podcast, which is available on iTunes, Aircast, and all the top podcast providers. Over the coming weeks and months, we are going to be covering all aspects of match betting, and we hope to become a new piece in the jigsaw in your match betting life. Today's podcast is Two Up Talk, basically talking all things about the famed offer from Bet365, but all the other early payout offers too. So thanks for joining us today. We're delighted to have you on board. And if you haven't had the chance yet to try OddsMonkey's premium service, we're going to give you a little hand today. Use the sign-up code PODOFFER, PODOFFER, and that gets you 10 full days of OddsMonkey Premium for just £1. Give you full access to all the offers, the guides, and tools. And we'll repeat this again at the end of the podcast, so don't worry if you missed it. Today, I'm going to be talking with Ben from OddsMonkey.
Hello.
And Phil from Tricky Bet.
Hi.
How are you doing, guys? Thanks for joining us today, live from OddsMonkey HQ.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking all things early payouts. And Ben, we've seen early payout expand in recent months. It covers all sorts of sports now, doesn't it?
Yeah, all sorts. So obviously you've got the football, you've got rugby, American football, NFL, tennis, even snooker.
And with that, we've seen more bookmakers come into it, haven't we? And obviously we're talking Two Up today, but there is that a few other options, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most popular ones right now is from William Hill. They have one called Golden Goal, and it's a bit like Two Up, but this one's only one up, essentially. If your team goes 1-0 up, you bet wins. They'll pay you out as a winner. And this is a pretty good place to start if you're getting into early payouts, because it's not the most profitable offer because William Hill put a cap on the winnings, but that means you don't have to worry about your stakes and stuff.
And it tends to be a good place for beginners, doesn't it, Ben, that one?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's also a Betway as well.
So as I'm saying, we're talking Bet365, the Two Up offer, but that's not a bad starting place, is it, for some of the beginners?
Yeah, you got to put low stakes on, but yeah, it's still got potential.
Cool. And as we said before, Two Up, Bet365. Phil, give us a quick run through of what we're talking about here. It's the big one for match bettors, isn't it, in a lot of ways?
It is. It's one of the most profitable offers around, and the community absolutely loves this offer. Very simply, Bet365 will pay out on your bet if your team goes 2-0 up. So your team goes 2-0 up, they pay you as a winner, and we still have our exchange bet. So we can either cash out our exchange bet, or we can just let that go and hope that it comes back and the lay bet wins as well. So then we'll have a winning back bet and a winning lay bet, and that's where we get our massive profits.
And obviously we'll talk about beginners and stuff. We've had a lot of questions on the forum in terms of bank, etc. What is the need on this? Is it huge, small? Where do you have to be on this?
It's not one I'd jump straight into. You definitely want to get your sign-up guides all completed, because it's going to give you a bank that you can start doing this. I mean, you can do low stakes with Two Up if you want, but people who are making the big money are putting larger stakes on, and you need a larger bank for that, obviously.
And we said with the guides now, it's over £1,000 on site now, isn't it? So it's always it's a good thing to do it complete. You really are going to have the bank if you do all the guides on site, and you get that experience as well, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. You get that experience of placing decent sized back bets, then cashing out on the exchange, all these little things that you might not know when you first start, but they'll be second nature to you by the time you've finished your sign-up guides.
Right, so guys, here we go. Let's get into it. Bet365. We're looking at the weekend's fixtures. Obviously, Ben, in terms of what it covers, it's all the top leagues, isn't it? It's Premier League, foreign as well, isn't it? So how to choose teams and when to choose them, Ben? What do we need to look out for? There are some basic match betting rules that you really need to abide by, isn't there?
Yeah. So the first thing I'll do, I've got the odds matcher, and I'd put in the Two Up filter. So this ensures that all the matches shown are eligible for the Two Up offer.
Yeah, and obviously, Phil, when we're going to talk about match betting rules, when it comes to this, you'll be looking at the games, isn't it? But the main thing is taking the emotion out. I know I'm guilty of this. It's like my own team, Middlesbrough, on there sometimes, and I would never back them to go 2-0 at the minute. But it's not about your team, is it?
No, I mean, always with match betting, we want to try and take that away from it. We're not gambling here. We're not trying to pick winners. we're just looking at the data we have presented to us and making a decision on that. So generally, we're going to look at the rating, the match rating. 97% and above is always going to be a good place to start to keep your qualifying losses down and long term keep this offer profitable.
And there is another column we look at there as well, Ben, the percentage return, which it's almost like a slightly different tactic, isn't it, for people? And that's what you're fond of, isn't it? And it is one people can look at as well.
So this is like the return on investment, so it includes your stakes and your liability. So with this offer, your profit when doing a full turnaround is basically your full return at Bet365. So taking the return percent into consideration, you can look at your qualifying loss as a percentage of the full turnaround value.
Yeah, and then obviously that's one you use, but you are vastly experienced, much better, isn't it, Ben? So that's why sometimes when you're starting out, we tend to steer people towards the match rating, isn't it?
Yeah, match rating's great, but it also filters out quite a lot of the higher odds teams. There will still be value.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously one you have to consider, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in terms of high, and also on the same screen, we've got the liability. Not really a worry, is it, when we come in top 5 leagues? But if you're going foreign, it's like something you've got to consider, Phil. And you got to make it's like covering the rules, your basics.
Yeah, of course. Whenever we're placing a match bet and a lay bet, and we have to make sure there's enough money at the exchange for our bet to be accepted. Generally, this isn't a problem with 2 up because the matches are all on the big leagues. But if you bet in a few days in advance, you might want to check out the availability at the exchange before you place your back bet.
And we do get a lot of questions. We've had them in. Thanks everyone for sending the questions to the forum and through all our providers. Please keep them coming in. Favourites and underdogs. Everyone's asking what do we back? Which league favourites and underdogs? There isn't a set guide for Scissor-Bet. It's not an exact formula, is it? You got to use your matcher and stuff to.
So favourites, they're more likely to go 2 up, but when they do go 2 up, the back odds at the exchange are going to be really low. And then with outsiders, they rarely go 2 up, but when they do, the profits can be quite big.
Yeah, and obviously that generally comes to the home and away as well. And Phil, you do get presented now and again. This is a rarity, isn't it? With the chance to back them both in one game. Obviously, we know Paddy Power does this offer as well, and sometimes you'll get a rare occurrence where you could cover both teams.
Yeah, like you say, if there's a couple of bookies doing the same offer, we can potentially get on both teams. It doesn't happen very often, usually because Paddy Power's odds are pretty poor, so it's hard to get matches at Paddy Power. But if there's a time where you can get on both teams, obviously it increases your chances of happening. But like you say, it's not something I'd worry about too much.
Right, guys. So we've been through this now. We've chosen our teams. In terms of when, Ben, the games tend to get released 3 days before sometimes, and there's no set rule of when to do it, is there? It depends what you're looking to do, and we'll come to the tactics in a minute. But as in terms of when, does it depend on how many teams you're putting on as well? Is not really a set time you need to do that?
Give me a set time, really. For me, I like to look, say, early in the morning when the traders are sleeping. But
is that on the day of the game, or?
Yeah, sorry, the day of the game. Yeah. There's also a time when the team sheets come out where you see a bit of odds movement.
So if you are sat there, so I say if you know you're going to be sat in front of the monitors all day, that can be a nice take advantage of the fact that you do see the team sheets and.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it can make a big improvement to the odds.
Well, there was a big change over there, wasn't it, when David De Gea was named very late doors to Liverpool and stuff. Yeah, so you can. People don't think you can say that, but it does happen. Right. So now we've chosen our teams. We know when we're doing it. We know what we're avoiding. We're avoiding emotion, etc. We've got our teams picked. Now, we're getting into it now, Phil, aren't we, here? We've got a couple of tactics when it comes to tour. This is the real nitty-gritty of, isn't it? Do we let it ride? Do we let the game go on? Or do we lock in? These are the 2 really big tactics. So, if we're letting it ride, Phil, why would we do that?
Letting it ride is the easiest thing to do because we can back and lay just like any other match bet and then just forget about it. Then we can come back at the end, check the result, and hopefully we've got 2 winning bets. So from that point of view, you don't have to be around during the match to lock in a profit. The other option is obviously lock in. So when a team goes 2-0 up, we potentially have the chance to lock in a profit. And that profit at 2-0 is going to be quite low, but again, it all depends on the odds. And if an underdog's gone 2-0 up, there might be quite a big lock in there. So then we have to decide whether we want to lock in at 2-0, wait till 2-1. There's going to be a bigger lock in. Or there's even options if you use the early payout calculator on OddsMonkey where you can cash out a percentage for a little bit of profit and let the rest of it ride. Where there's arguments whether you should let them all ride or lock in. I think it's generally considered to be about 50-50. Doesn't really matter which one you do. The profits
over time
are going to be the same. With the let it ride ones, you're going to get bigger profits, but bigger variance. You might go quite a while without a winner, but obviously with lock in, you're going to get small and more regular profits.
And with your lock in, Ben, that's when it's not just locking in one bit. You can do percentages and stuff as well, can't you? So if you ask that, there, it gets.
Yeah, the early payout calculator has an advanced mode, so you can put all the different percentages and then find out what your final profit is at the end. It does help to see what profit you got at the end using the slider.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? But this is the big thing, is it? It's choosing let it ride and lock in. Would you think you've got to decide what you're doing before the game? You can't just off the cuff sort of thing, or is it again? It's personal preference. You might think you're going to let something ride, then you lock in, or vice versa.
It does help to have your own strategies, and keep doing that.
Yeah, because then if you're doing, that's where you might get yourself caught, isn't it? But if you're undecided, or if you think I'm going to let this ride, and then you decide to lock in and
get quite hectic. Yeah, especially got quite a few games on.
Yeah, I mean, if you chop and change in your tactics all the time, it's getting a little bit more like gambling. If you're doing the same thing regularly, you're going to lock in your profit over time, no matter which one you do.
No, so we're going back to the basic rules, aren't we? It's match betting. We've got to take the emotion out, even if you get excited by scores in now. If you stick to your own tactics, isn't it? And future guys, Ben, I think you've got a nice little example you're going to talk through with Phil here.
Oh yeah.
We've got our match picked. We've got Arsenal v Liverpool in this example. So Ben's going to give us a quick talk through with Phil here, guys. If you have a quick listen, this is 2 up in its simplest format.
Okay, so we've got Arsenal. We've got a match of 2 and 2.02. That's a 0% commission. So for this game, we want to put £100 on odds of 2. So that'll be a qualifying loss of 99p. Let's have a look now. So we say Arsenal go 2-0 up at 25 minutes in. So we go check our Bet365 account. We can see that we've been paid out.
Arsenal 2 up after 25 minutes. We've got to make this believable, don't we?
I know. yeah. But they're being paid out. We've got £200 sat on our Bet365 account. We can then load up our early payout calculator and then go to the exchange. We can see that we have a lock-in of 1.2 for the back odds for Arsenal. So we enter that into the early payout calculator. £100 stake, back odds 2, lay odds 2.02, 0% commission.
And we'll be doing this, Phil, for the reason, and for the more newbies, why would they even be looking for a lockout here?
Why would they be looking for the lockout?
It's because you're trying to. Why would we be looking to lock in? Why would people do this at this point? Why wouldn't they let it ride, for instance?
Well, because in this example, we're going to have around £32 profit as a lock-in at 2-0, because Arsenal were probably unexpected to go 2-0 up at Liverpool. So the odds on Arsenal winning are still quite high at 1.2. If this had been Arsenal versus Middlesbrough, Arsenal's odds at 2-0 probably would be 1.01, and your profit will be in the pence. You probably wouldn't even be covering your qualifying loss.
So you probably at this point, but you wouldn't even be looking at that. You probably just
no.
But because then this is the point where 25 minutes, and the timing does matter as well, isn't it? So in this example, we're saying the turn up after 25. That's a really good thing, isn't it? Because the further they go on, even if we get towards the hour mark and after, the odds are going to change drastically, aren't they?
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is remove as much liability as we can. So that's where the profit comes from. So as it goes on, your back odds at the exchange are going to get lower. So that's why we could wait. So for example, we wait for Arsenal 2-1. Liverpool get a goal back. The back odds are now 1.6. So you plug that into the report calculator, and we've got a profit of £74.01. So it's a bit better than our first offer. So we could choose to take that and be done with that. Or we still have the potential of a full turnaround, which would be £199.
Yeah, and that's what people are looking for, isn't it? So that's the real dream scenario, isn't it? With all the tour, that's the dream scenario, isn't it? You can do that and take advantage. That's what, at the end of the day, that's what we're looking at.
I think this is a good time to mention as well the different ways that you can potentially get out of this offer. When we're talking about a lock-in, if we're using the early payout calculator on OddsMonkey, it's going to advise you to place another back bet at the exchange on Arsenal in this example. And the calculator will tell you how much to back based on the odds. And the good thing about this is if you've got other bets on this match for maybe different match betting offers, you need to use the early payout calculator and do this. If you haven't got any others on there, and maybe you're out and about and you just want to lock in, you can just cash out on the exchange, just cash your layer bet out, and it's the same. But you don't want to do that if you've got other bets on, because it's going to cash those bets out and potentially muck up your other offer bets.
And that's a good thing about this, Ben, as well. The tool, you don't have to be sat in front of multiple monitors and doing all this. It's available to you with all the apps now to do it without being glued and sat.
Yeah, we've got plenty of apps. We've got the Bet365 app, then you've got your exchange apps. The good thing about Bet365, it gives you a notification when the goals come in as well.
Cool.
So you get a buzz, you have a look.
Yeah.
And then you can go from there, yeah.
That's what there's to do with this. And again, that's a great example. We hope we've explained that a little bit. And the forum as well, guys, please don't underestimate the forum. It's fantastic, isn't it, guys? The 2up is a massive thread. There's different threads. Everyone's discussing, as we've just mentioned, a couple of tactics. But on there's loads of tactics in the Phil opinion, stats, conversation. And guys, it's a place to look, isn't it? It's people with the opinion, different tactics, and you can learn a lot, can't you, from other people doing it differently.
100%. I mean, there's a lot of people on the forum who are doing this offer and putting big amounts of money on. So it's not a bad idea to look at the tactics they're using, because they're obviously making profits. There's also a really interesting thread in the general section of the forum that Susie Beth's posted, that if you really want to get into the data and historical stats on this offer, there's a lot of information on there that's very interesting.
Especially Ben as well, with your percentage return, just talk about that on there as well. Different ways of doing it, isn't it? As we say about the tactics, there's no wrong ways, but there is varying ways of doing it, as we said, and that's on the forum as well.
Yeah, I think you just got to just get stuck in and see what works for you over time, really, because you might start one strategy, feel that it's not working for you, and then you can tweak things, to fit your bank and time.
Cool, guys. Well, I say thanks for joining us today. Obviously, we're talking about the forum there, and you can only get access to that through OddsMonkey's premium service. So I'll just remind you that offer again we've got today. Use the sign-up code PODOFFER, PODOFFER. That gets you 10 full days of OddsMonkey's premium service for just £1. Gives you access to all the guides, as we said, the forum, which particularly for 2up is really useful. But I said, hopefully you can get a lot out of today's episode. We'll be back again in a few months, probably covering 2up again, and we're back later in the month with a few more match betting insights. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll catch you soon.